Yes, you. Welcome to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast, a podcast for people who want to disrupt their lives for a good reason, to make it count. I'm your host, Jen Glantz, and every week I'll drop a new episode with stories from real people just like you, who woke up one morning and decided to make big changes, starting with small things. We'll cover topics like entrepreneurship, love, failure, and self-care. Hey, you're not getting any younger, so let's make this an adventure. Ready? Hey, any youngers, it's me, your host, Jen Glantz. I know it's the end of the year, and I'm here with one final podcast for 2019, for this decade, and for you before you say goodbye to whatever adjective you want to put in front of the year 2019 and this decade and march forward into 2020. I know it sounds glamorous, it sounds fun, it sounds exciting, but there's no lie, there's no secret that ending a year can be stressful. It can be emotional. It can also just simply be exhausting. And that's okay. That's good, but it's important to at least remember that. And I find myself personally, I'm the kindest to myself right at the very edge of a new year. That's when I make all of these promises and all of these goals that I want to accomplish in the year ahead, in the next 365 days. And when I'm making those promises, and probably like you, it seems so easy, so obvious. I say things like, I'm going to write this book, and I'm going to run this marathon, and I'm going to eat healthier, and I'm going to go to a new country. And when I'm making these promises and putting them on paper and telling people about them, it seems so like, duh, of course you're going to do all that, Jen. How easy, how cool. But then the next year comes, and I realize by March that I haven't done one of those things. I let myself down. How could I do that? It all seemed and sounded so great at the end of an end of a year, but at the beginning and the middle of a new one, we crumble. We fall apart. But here's the thing. I look back at my list that I made in December 31st of 2018, and I realized, you know what? I accomplished none of the things I told myself I would. But I did other things. Other really big things I never could have planned for. So here's the thing, my friends. Remember this. That even right now, when you tell yourself you're going to do X, Y, and Z next year, even if you don't do one of those things, you will do other things, massive, radical, roaring things, because it's not about the thing you want to do. It's about this feeling right now that you really, truly believe you could do anything because you feel ready enough, because you get a second brand new chance. But spoiler alert, even if you find yourself discouraged in March or July of next year, that feeling shouldn't go away because you are ready enough. And even if right now you can't imagine or plan for what it is you want to do, all you need to remember is this feeling that you have on the cusp of something new. And let go of feeling discouraged and look forward, because this feeling of new, of starting again, that's something I encourage you to feel every day, no matter what day it is. And in this final episode, no matter what you're doing, if you're still unwrapping gifts, if you're still shopping, if you're hanging with friends, if you're counting down till you can pop that champagne on December 31st, I'm going to give you 3 final challenges for this year. And maybe you do all 3, or maybe you do one. Maybe you don't even do one of them, but it sinks in your brain and you do it eventually. Challenge number 1, put the phone down. I deleted Instagram about 5 days ago, and I'm going to re-download it sometime in the new year, of course, because it's Instagram. But I wanted to make a promise to myself that I wouldn't spend the final days of this year glued to my phone. And I spend the most time on Instagram, so that's why I deleted that app. But challenge number 1, can you spend 30 minutes less on your phone every single day until the end of the year? and take those 30 minutes and do something valuable. Maybe you nap. Maybe you hang out with somebody. Maybe you just do something self-care. I don't know, but just turn your phone off for 30 more minutes every day. Challenge 2, make a list of all your 2019 accomplishments. Even if you feel like you didn't do anything big or grand or worthwhile, yeah, you did. Make that list now, because what tends to happen is the new year comes and new things happen and you forget all of your greatness. Challenge number 3, contact, text, DM, message, call 3 people that you love but you haven't spoken to in a while. I'm guilty of this. I was venting to my mom the other day about how I feel like there's so many people in my life who don't care about me because they don't call me. They don't reach out to me. And my mom said to me, well, what about you? Do you call them? And I said no. Because oftentimes we the ones who want the phone to ring, don't ever pick up the phone to call. And I am so guilty of that. Sometimes we feel like we are the ones experiencing the heaviness of the world, and everyone should realize that and know that and be there for us. But the truth is, sometimes they don't, especially if we don't talk to them. So choose 3 people and contact them. Okay, the challenge is turn your phone off, make a list of your accomplishments, and text, call, email 3 people you miss, you haven't spoken to, but you love. My friends, I thank you so much for listening to this podcast, for supporting it, for loving it, for those reviews on iTunes and subscribing and downloading and having my back and coming to the meetups and sending me love letters of encouragement. You are my fire. You are my hope. You are my sidekicks as I personally say goodbye to this year and enter a brand new one with you. Until next year, all my love, Jen Glantz. Hey you! Thank you for listening to the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast. There are hundreds of thousands of pods out there, so thank you for listening to this one. You can find the show notes for this week's episode up on our website, anyyounger.com. Subscribe, rate, and review the You're Not Getting Any Younger podcast on iTunes so that other ears around the world can listen too. Oh, and join our secret You're Not Getting Any Younger Facebook group, where over 1,000 people are talking about how to disrupt their lives, for a good reason, to make it count. Until next week, all my love, Jen Glantz.